Oh, good. I'm live now. Okay. Welcome to my first video. I've been doing these every week on Facebook and Instagram. So today is my maiden voyage on YouTube. And so I have no idea who's coming in, but I guess that'll show. But at any rate, of course, I will be saving this and posting it and everything. So, as an introduction, I'm Sarah Sachs, Medium on the Go, and just what you need is another current event tarot reader. But I will tell you the truth, I can't get enough of them on YouTube and other social media. So I think more the merrier. Although I have to say, a lot of them and I are pretty much coming up with the same conclusions and get a lot of the same cards, and that which is very interesting. So I will be doing this, but I will also be doing some tutorials on mediumship and tarot, as well as some meditations. We'll be joining the meditation. I see I've got a couple people already. Since I'm medium on the go, I will be doing some videos on my travels and probably tying them in with some spiritual theme and going to haunted places, that sort of thing. So I can't see who's on, but I know I've got a couple of people already. And so there will be travels. There will be other things like maybe some senior themed things. And if I'm out and about in the shops and I see a Karen, I'll probably whip out my phone and maybe do those. But so I'm going to be trying to be pretty versatile. But a lot of this will be the tarot card readings. And it really comes, let's see, welcome to live chat, learn. Oh, hi, Susan. Okay, I'm seeing them coming on the screen already. So far, so good. At least this actually came on the air. So thanks to Arlene Holt, who she and I did some practice, so it's not that hard. So and Tommy, hi, Tommy, good to see you. So I see more people coming. I will say that next week I'll be up in Lilydale, and I'm going to try to upload some videos and maybe do some lives about the Chautauqua area in general. So I'm looking forward to that, and I know plenty of haunted spaces outside of Lilydale, so that should be pretty exciting. So as I say, it's going to be a variety of things. So today it's tarot for our times, and what I do usually is I watch the news, maybe so you don't have to, and I take some notes about what I think are the hot topics. And that today I don't want to go for 2 hours, so I'm going to try to compress this a little bit and keep the spreads. Oh, you'll be up there. I'll be up there too, Susan. I'm going to be up there. I think I'm coming back the 29th. That's great. So we will get together. That's good. So at any rate, I do have. There's so much. Boy, Jay, I could take up the whole 40 minutes, which I'm trying to. That's my goal. In the 1/6. Pretty much the hearings and that sort of thing. But there are a couple of other things, and I do like to do a little bit on Ukraine. We don't want to forget about that. So I'll probably be drawing. I won't be doing any big elaborate spreads. I'll try to keep them to as few cards as I can. So I'm really excited to have my channel up, and there is a lot going on now. Oh, hi, Arlene. Oh, hi. Good to see you. I have to thank Arlene. She's the one that made this all possible for today. And the fact that I didn't screw this up going on live. So I will say the lighting and that sort of thing will get more sophisticated as we go along. I'm a photographer, so being in the shadows, I'm not too thrilled about, but I also know that the first ones are kind of the crude ones. So as I will be getting more equipment and these will be getting better, but I'm sure that the cards will show up. So to begin, um, I was taking all kinds of notes on the 1/6 hearings. So tomorrow, and I can hardly wait. I'm so glad I don't have any readings until like really way late in the afternoon. So it's about the pressure on Pence, but it's also all that stuff building up to 1/6, and that this pretty much to show that this was not a spontaneous event. This was really in the plannings to some chilling degree, and they already showed some surveillance tapes about people getting their little guided tours of the basement, the tunnels, and all that sort of thing. Now, I have been to the Capitol many times with school trips on my own, this, that, and the other thing. And I can honestly tell you, and this was pre 9/11 when you could just go wherever you wanted to go. I can honestly tell you that where those people were taken were like areas I had no idea about. So it's going to build the, and also the, let's see, the Proud Boys. We're encouraging people to occupy buildings, including not only the Capitol, but CNN and some other things. Then tomorrow they're going to emphasize the pressure on Pence. So first, I want to do several cards about about what we have seen on tape, because I think that could be a preview of coming attractions. So let's see what this is now. And I've been shuffling these things like mad. What it is now. Oh, all right. Oh, please show up. Okay, the Hanged Man in reverse. Hopefully you can see that. The Hanged Man in reverse is it's saying that they may have planned it, but for some reason it just didn't go anywhere. They didn't do a lot of reflecting on the planning. It seemed like a good idea, but it's still chilling. So that they were kind of, they didn't even get to the point of where they were kind of left hanging. So we've got the Hanged Man in reverse, and I will have a more sophisticated way of doing spreads, but in the meantime, I'm just going to be, oh, good, you can see it. Okay, great. So energetically, I will say that of all the tarot, the only difference between me and the other tarot readers who are really good that I've seen is that I'm the only one that uses multiple decks in once. So that's my little thing that I'm different from the others. So we've got the King of Cups here with the calming energy, and I'm in agreement with just about, well, with especially the two, like Marianne, who does Revealing Light Tarot, and Ellie Dreams Down Under, who we see this card as Biden. So I would say he really does give off a very cool, nurturing type of energy. So I'm going to say energetically, with that victory, it looks to me as though we were just getting ready to change administrations, and there is basically nothing. This is telling me there was just really nothing that they were going to be able to do about it. And this is kind of a little different, because people are saying, oh, if they had succeeded, the government would have toppled. But what this is telling me is that there are other stopgaps in our government that at least could have delayed that, sort of thing from happening. So then we have, we've had that with the Proud Boys. So I want to do a few cards about what was going on with Pence. So I want to go into that a little bit deeper. the pressure that was put on Pence. And we, as time went on, we realized that this was days in advance. He was, he was calling all sorts of people about this and seeing if there was any precedent for this. So I'm going to take a look and see when the January 6th, where he was at and what was going on. Because Novites, even in the worst days of Tricky Dick, and he had a sleazoid for vice president and attorney general. I mean, even in those days, that wasn't even presented as one of his top administration people to kind of overturn things or to stage a coup. So let's see, we have the Three of Cups. So that's telling me Three of Cups in reverse. That's telling me that there was going to be no reason to celebrate. That I'm going to say that I think that emotionally he was getting ready to step back, regroup, and maybe work on his run for the presidency, because I think that's what vice presidents do, whether at the end of a term, whether their guy wins or loses. So I would say that they were very somber, no reason for celebration. And then for him, so let's see, we have energetically, we have, okay, the liars coming, the liars just coming at him nonstop. The ones that wanted to, perpetuate the big lie people, the deceivers. And so I'm going to say that he was in a tremendous amount of emotional turmoil trying to figure out his loyalties. But I would say they were really sneaky, and they just were not giving him any peace. So I'm going to see, what do I think that some of these witnesses might be saying? Like, what is going on here? Because I'm telling you, as jaded as I thought I was, and thinking that it was going to be a rerun of what happened. Boy, they've come up with some surprises and with me that I was like, whoa, didn't see that coming, and I didn't know that. So let's see about what we could be hearing with witnesses regarding Pence. Okay, so 10 of Wands here saying lots of burden. There's a lot of burden and a lot of responsibility that a lot of these people had in pressuring him. So they were putting a lot of burden on him. Very interesting. And so I want to get a little bit closer up to the January 6th. So that was the beginning. So they were putting a lot of pressure, a lot of burden on him. And they were getting pressured and burdened from the orange one at top. Okay, so we've got the Five of Pentacles in reverse. And to me, that represents that when it's upright, it's about not asking for help, being left out in the cold, and poverty. And I'm taking this reverse card to say it was asking for the wrong kind of help. And the spirituality of the Pentacles in the window being in reverse is saying that this was not coming from any kind of higher place. And this is pretty much on the same energy as Trump calling all those people in Georgia to overturn it. So this is about money, and this keeps coming up. It's about money, corrupt money, and the falsehood of if you donate, this will go into that fund to stop the steal. So we had this going on as a type of pressure that people were saying, you've got to help us, to turn over this corrupt election. But meanwhile, this is incredibly corrupt. So I don't think they believed it, but for some reason, I don't know if he's black. I think blackmailing, bribing, whatever, for these people to be loyal. But I'm going to say so. I want to kind of come up to the hopes and fears element of all of this sort of thing as they were being asked to pressure Pence. Okay, walking away. I'm going to say that a lot of them saw the writing on the wall and how this could adversely affect their families, the whole thing. So I would say that a number of them walked away, and they will be honoring the subpoena. Some do, some don't, but I think there will be a lot of them in there without a fight because they really want to walk away from this. So I think we're going to be hearing some kind of mind-blowing stuff tomorrow again, just when you thought, oh, that sounds like it's boring. No, it's not going to be boring. So we have, let's see, let's see what an outcome of this could be. Victory. Still some more victory for the congressional hearing. I am going to assume that as if there's any live witnesses and not all replaying of tapes, because there's been a mixture of both. I'm going to say that there's going to be they're going to be like really happy. They're going to be given a lot more than they had anticipated. So there will be some surprises, but it will be a lot of victory for the committee and a lot of us that feels as though justice should be done. So again, it's going to be like, wow, this is a lot bigger than we thought, and possibly a lot of people that were sitting on the fence saying, you can't refute this. And of course, the major portion of this will be coming from Republicans, which is really giving this a lot of credibility. So there were some primaries last night on the Trump Revenge Tour. And looking at them, I'm not going to go into them in detail. But looking at the big picture, it looks like it's kind of like almost like a 50-50 split between, the Trump candidates and the others in the Republican Party running in the states. Now, in Pennsylvania, with Oz squeaking through, which is what I said a few videos ago, that, that they should be careful what they wish for, because living in Pennsylvania, they just don't like carpetbaggers, and more of that is being revealed about Oz. So I would say that they might have been better off with the other guy running. So and I have to say that in the big picture of things, and this goes to talking to people, you're never going to win over the red hat crowd. So you need to stop trying. Some of these people in the deep South that are the real MAGA crowd, their souls are lost. There's not going to be any mind changing. So it's really getting down to get the people registered, get them to vote, reach out to the independents. And that's just about it. So I'm going to pull a couple cards on what's going on with the primaries and what could be happening. There's some pretty, like that Republican that got the nomination in Nevada, that he's pretty scary. But I would say if he tried to overturn an election, I really feel that the courts step in at that point. So at any rate, I'm going to ask the question, if these people win, could they overturn elections? I think that's a big bothering point. So let's see. We have got, okay, so the Two of Wands upright is saying, That's kind of a dream off in the future, but there's no guarantees that that's going to happen. But that's really the future vision of this. And energetically, we have energy crossing. This is the Knight of Pentacles in reverse. And I'm really coming to concluded that in these types of readings, when you see Pentacles in reverse, it's once again, follow the money, corruption, misuse of funds. So we have the Knight of Pentacles on this horse. When he's upright, he's just that hardworking guy plodding around. But in reverse, he's kind of a villainous, corrupt sort of person, and unfortunately representing maybe a number of young people that are looking for power and kind of drunk for power. So there's a lot of illegality and corruption. The guy's kind of an outlaw too. So I would say that it might not be, if I would say, easier said than done. So there is a certain amount of fear, and I would say that hopefully that guy won't win in Nevada. But I think they're starting to think it's going to be a lot easier. So let's see what's. I don't predict winners, but let's see what's coming up in the future for a number of these Republicans. So we have the Hierophant, which does represent a very rigidity, sometimes in religious, but in institutions. So the Hierophant is saying we have institutions that are really so locked into place from the late 1700s when the Constitution was formed that we're going to be a pretty hard foundation to strike if, God forbid, the worst should happen. So that is very important. And as time goes on after these hearings, I kind of want to see as far as like these hopes and fears. I heard hopes and fears of the Republicans. So, oh, great. Okay. You got to love this. Seven of Swords is saying that more and more people are going to be caught in their lies in this hearing and moving up to election season. And this is the big fear that a lot of these MAGA people are running against. They're really fearful of being discovered and busted when they were told by their higher up orange god that, well, you're with me, you'll never be caught. And that also tells me that don't look to him for any kind of help. So this is uncovering more corruption and lies. And the economy is the economy, but this also tells me these hearings and the DOJ could be putting more of this into the elections than they are now, because it seems like, as I say, those that have totally lost their souls are not ever going to care. But I think more people, normal people who don't now, probably will. So outcome wise of what's going on with the elections leading up without, okay. King of Swords in reverse. Oh boy. So this is more revealing of the big cheese being caught in a big lie, which is also telling me that he may become less and less eligible to run in 2024. So this saying that probably he's running out of lies. Now, his hardcore supporters will be there, but it also tells me that there could be people, oh, this is really interesting. There could be people falling away. And I was thinking about that guy that they kind of ignore, the one that shot up the synagogue in Pittsburgh. And very shortly afterwards, they found out that he was disillusioned with Trump because he wasn't a bad enough fascist. I have to say, I'm feeling as though there's more of these clowns in some of these movements, and that there could be a splintering off, and possibly brings back memories of 68 with George Wallace. They could find this like ultra right, absolute nutcase, um, that they could have their sights on in 2024, as maybe there's some disillusionment with these elections. And I mean, it's sure to lose, like, like the Libertarian and all these other candidates. But I'm going to say Ross Perot, but I'm going to say that this guy is going to make George Wallace look like the most enlightened guy that ever lived. And if those who don't know, the governor of Alabama, that was segregation all the way. The Ku Klux Klan loved him. But I'm thinking there's going to be something like that that's going to further drive a wedge into that part of the Republican Party. So that this should be very interesting. This just occurred to me with the looking at the King of Swords in reverse, but lie, and a lot of these Proud Boy types will say that Trump is, as Trump weakens, I'm going to say they're going to say that he's not right wing enough. So I really do get a sense that there will definitely be more infighting and division. That I think that I think that it's going to mess some of this up as we get deeper into primary season, because we're only like midway through them. But I also think that this will weigh more heavily on the 2024 election. So that's very, very interesting to see. So we have got that. I didn't write down. It looks like the gun legislation is going through, and while it's not anything I would be thrilled about, I feel as though if I were in the Senate or the House, I would vote for it, just so it's a beginning and things can be tacked on later. But something's going to. So it's going to the Senate, and it looks like there won't even be a filibuster because they have the 10 Republicans. So I want to see what is going to be happening as a result of this gun legislation. Okay. Chariot says it's going to move forward. This is just the beginning. I'm not thrilled with it, but we've got to begin somewhere. I would say that, unfortunately, for entertainment purposes only, there could be some more gun violence, which could possibly be, they'll get this signed, but this could possibly be pushing for more amendments, and in the years to come, the AR-15 could become history. So I want to quickly see energetically behind this moving forward is, okay, King of Wands, which is really pushing this, and I would say that I'm feeling as though this could be a card for Biden. I mean, I think he could have the elements of the King of Cups, but I'm also seeing like that this whole thing could be catching on fire with an authoritarian figure, and those that are, authority figure. The authoritarians in Congress who would not vote for this are saying, oh, we're going to go down the slippery slope and more will be. Well, they're right. And we hope that more are added. So I would say as this goes through, there will be more asked. And this is something that will take on a life of its own. So it's definitely a beginning. And just to see what a quick outcome of this will be. I don't know that it's going to stop all of them, but I think it might slow some of this stuff down. So, okay, so we have the Two of Cups in reverse, which is talking about that there is still going to be division on this whole issue, but but I think that it could be softened a little bit, but there will still be division, and that's not going to change. But that law will move forward in the future with amendments. So I think that the people can start to kiss their AR-15s goodbye. So I'm going to look at the Ukraine now. Oh, good. I'm in a good space time wise. So we're going to look at the Ukraine. As I watched the news, I noticed that there were 2 Americans that were captured by the Russians. Not sure what that is about. I'm wondering if they're something tells me they could be journalists. I'm not sure. So the issue with that is that they really need more weapons, and that's concerning for me. So I'm going to quickly take a look at just 2 things about this. First is about the 2 Americans captured by the Russians. But they're obviously, I don't think, I'm not feeling as though they're there in a military capacity as mercenaries. Could be wrong. I'm just not getting that. But I'm going to see what the cards have to say just to get a bit of an idea energetically. So, okay. Well, this is interesting. Because I'm seeing this as 7 of Swords upright. I'm seeing this as from what the Russians are going to do. The Russian purpose is that they're going to make some big thing out of whatever they were. I mean, they could be Red Cross or press. They're going to try to say that they were spies. I think that's going to be the big lie. Their big lie. So they're going to say they were probably spies, no matter how innocent their presence is. And oh, good. 8 of Wands in reverse is saying that will probably go nowhere and will be very transparent. So that they know that there could be a very big international incident. So they may stop on doing all the things that they would like to do because they really run a danger that we could get more involved. They don't want us to get more involved in this. So let's see very quickly what will be happening in the next few days with this. So I'm going to say that they may be holding these people for ransom to for us to lighten up our sanctions. I don't even like to say that, but that's what this card in reverse is saying, that they're in worse. This is telling me they're in worse economic shape than we realize, because we haven't been getting a lot of reporting about that. So I'm going to say that there could be some play for money here. I don't know if that's going to work. Something's telling me they really might back off of this. So let's see what's coming up after that. There they are, very, very impoverished. And I would say that this could be some desperate attempt in blackmail and ransom. But I want to see what are we going to do? What could happen with this? So let's see. 9 of Pentacles, upright. I have taken this sometimes to be the wealth of the oligarchs living in extreme luxury. So I will say that there could be some talks that the U.S. is having with them to see the influence. But I'm going to say the oligarchs could be playing a part in this. But this is disturbing. I'm almost hoping it's one of those fake stories that got okay. Wheel of Fortune. It's just I don't think they're going to get it. They're not going to get it. I think it's going to be a game of chicken. But I don't see. I just don't see the U.S. and NATO and all of these others caving to that. So I also want to take a very quick look and see how the Ukraine army is doing, because every time they have said that they are going to be out for the count and that they're so outnumbered by the Russians, bam, they come back and prove whoever said all of that wrong. So earlier, Susan, before I draw a card, Susan had asked me about the illuminated deck or the Illuminati deck, and this is the deck. This deck that I've been using here, this is the illuminated deck that I bought it. Okay. So, okay, Judgment. Okay. Judgment in a reverse is really talking about how they really feel they really need to get more people on board. This is the whole thing. And I'm really hoping that happens, but I also get a sense there could be a big shipment coming through. I also strongly feel that we're not hearing about it on the news because they really don't want the Russians to. We don't want the Russians to know, and I think there could be a really big load of some weaponry coming in, like surprise, but that they really do have to keep that out of their. Oh, you're looking at the illuminated playing cards. Oh, okay. I don't know about those. Okay. I know some people read playing cards. It's kind of a lost art. I kind of like playing cards with playing cards. But at any rate, I'd love to see what those look like if you ever find them. Okay. Oh, death. Okay, it does have the energy of death, but I'm going to see death as new beginnings that don't count the Ukrainians out just quite yet. But unfortunately, there is going to be more death and destruction in the wake. But those people like this, like this knight, I call him the fifth knight of the tarot. He's riding through. He's riding through slowly, but he is not giving up. And I also heard that we're leaving a lot of dead Russians in their wake too. So they're giving them what for. So although things look grim, I'm going to say what could be coming up while they're waiting for the weapons to come, which I think is going to be soon, but it's not going to be like in another hour. So let's see what are they doing. Oh, this is great. I would say expect an unexpected victory for Ukraine. And I would say it's going to, because this card surprised me. I went, oh, surprise. This card surprised me. So I'm very surprised. And I think that there's going to be a surprising victory where maybe we've been getting the reports that all are lost. But as I say, never underestimate Ukrainians. So let's, coming up next in Hopes and Fears. Then Hopes and Fears is the, this is interesting. This I've called the card of hitting bottom and kind of seeing the light and then choosing to make a better decision. I'm going to say I feel as though the Ukraine is kind of at a low point now, but I would say they're not out for the count yet, because that I always look at the sun coming through the night and that there is hope. They're not going to lose the hope, but I do see them rising, and this is usually the rising up after that. And I think they're just not going to give up, just no matter how many great numbers of Russians and weapons are. They're not going to give up, and they are seeing the hope. They're probably more hopeful than we are. So that's very good. So I want to get a little bit of a conclusion. So the Five of Cups reversed, that's one card I love to see reversed. They are learning from the past mistakes, but they are not wallowing in them. So I'm going to say that unlike this figure, kind of mourning over the past, that what I feel that they're going to do is they're going to learn from it, but they're going to move on with that. They're going to head for that bridge in the background, or maybe they'll blow it up if the Russians are coming. But they're definitely getting to ready to move on, and they are not wallowing in in past losses and mistakes. So this is telling me we could learn a lot from these people. I really think that our, whatever we're going through with the gas pump and all of this stuff is just nothing compared to what they're going through with their homes being bombed and the awful things that the Russians are doing to them. So I feel as though this is a very good place. Well, maybe one or two cards on that. They did. The Fed is going to raise the rate. So I just want to take. Not going to belabor this. A very quick look at the economy, because that's the big elephant in the room that could be affecting the elections. So let's see quickly, very quickly, just a couple, 2, 3 cards. So okay. So what's going to happen with the Fed raising the interest rates here? So okay. So we have and this is interesting. We have the Seven of Pentacles in reverse. This is telling me that I'm feeling as though people are going to start to think differently of their money. I mean, here we are. There's not a thing we can do about it. I'm going to say that people may be spending less and working more on reducing their debt with any extra money they get from raises and whatnot. So I think this is probably going to put a halt, and that as he put, as these pentacles go on the tree, that it's telling me there's probably going to be less spending. And even though it's summer with people on the road, they're just not. I've been saying this all along. They're not going to go as far. People will get pissed off and say, let's have gas. We don't buy any gas on Monday. That's really coming around the corner. So I think that there are a lot of people, there's going to be kind of like a little bit of a hold back supply and demand thing going on. And we have to do our part. I'm sorry. Everybody's saying it's all Biden's fault, this and that. Well, those people complaining are the 8 mile per gallon pickup truck, let's go Brandon crowd, and that they need to make some sacrifices. So I mean, they're genuinely people hurting, but it's time for us to get creative. So energetically, we have the Queen of Cups, which is talking about maybe people getting some compassion and maybe reaching out to. We've had so much nastiness. I think people are getting burned out from nastiness. So maybe it's like looking out. If you can't help your neighbor out financially, it's like kind of like giving some emotional support. So that this is kind of looking energetically, that's what I'm seeing. It's like, well, we've got to start being nicer to each other. So I want to see kind of an outcome of all this manipulating with the Fed, and I think releasing more in the. And also, there's a lot of hope that thing about the War Acts or whatever, that Biden may force the oil companies to produce more, which is interesting. That is undecided. But let's see. The Wheel of Fortune. So I'd say what's coming from this is no economic windfalls. I very rarely see that as a loss of fortune, unless maybe I'm doing a reading on the Trumps. But in this case, I'm seeing is like there is no big, only so many people can hit the lottery. What I'm seeing is since people realize there's no big windfall, this is where we're at right now, is that people just thinking about better ways of spending their money and then slowly starting to accumulate enough to pay down debts and that sort of thing before interest rates go in. So I also see that as a halting of I mean, people are bitching, but people are spending. You wouldn't believe how many people were in the nail salon a few weeks ago. I mean, people are still doing things like that, but there are those suffering as well. But I'm feeling as though the big complainers are the ones that are still doing whatever they want to do. So, get your hair done, but don't complain, okay? So that's what that's what I do. I get my hair done, but I don't complain. So I'm going to say that people are going to start to look at more creative ways and slower ways of building up their money, and that they're facing the fact there is no big windfall. But this is also telling me that as people pull back on their spending, that that may be cutting the windfall of these corporations that have been fleecing us. So I'm not quite as gloomy as the pundits that you see on the news stations. I'm not seeing some big turnaround, but I do have to agree with some of the other psychics I've seen on the internet who say that in the fall, slowly but surely, we there might be a little bit of relief. We're not going to go back to $2 a gallon, but I feel as though if people see that this is going in a direction of things going down, dribbling down, then I think that there will be a more optimistic view of the economy, which in turn that brings in the law of attraction, which is like because everybody's in this whole thing like gas prices are higher, and the universe is saying, okay, I'll put them up higher. So I think people need to get a better mindset, and then with that better mindset saying, well, how can I cut down on my driving? And then that sends a better message to the universe like, oh, if I cut back on the driving, maybe we'll see a few cents here and there in a while. So it's a matter of doing that and being patient and knowing that there's so many factors at work. There isn't the one savior that's going to save us or anything else. So, at any rate, I think this is a very good place to end for my first live for today. So, I want to thank the people that were here, and then I'm going to do whatever I need to do at the end of this to get this put up. And next week at this time, I will be in Lilydale, so I'm going to be a little flexible. It might be a day before, a day after, as to when I'm going to do another live. But what I'm hoping to do is to upload some videos in the meantime, now that I can sort of know how to do it. So I want to thank everybody who is here today. And so enjoy your evening, and I'll see you in the funny papers. Bye bye, everybody.